Good afternoon, Georgetown, South Carolina, and beyond, and welcome to a gathering place brought to you by the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce. And today's show, we're going to have some guests joining us at different times if they can hop on, because we've put this show together very quickly because of the aftermath of Hurricane Ian. We're going to find out more from the South Carolina Emergency Department what you can do to clean your space, your yard, etc. after the hurricane, but also services available to those who are in need after Hurricane Ian and what's going on. We'll be hearing about that and more right after this opening.
Hello, I'm Marilyn Hemingway, and welcome to A Gathering Place. I said, I'm stepping back because we have young voices who want to be heard and they're moving on something.
Branding is really important to you and your business.
Even a basic type of technology, you'll learn it all.
And people are
Good question.
Well, we're back, folks, and remember to drop your comments and questions in the comment section wherever you are watching from. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So drop your questions and comments in, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. Also, if you can like and subscribe us on YouTube, grow our YouTube viewership, and also LinkedIn. Go to our LinkedIn, Galagichi Chamber of Commerce, and like us, because all of those social media accounts, we are bringing you a gathering place every Wednesday and Sunday at 4 o'clock. So the last week has been Hurricane Ian and the aftermath and the work that we're doing. And because of what we're seeing out there in our community, where folks are, and especially in the rural areas, are not receiving the services that they need to receive from after Hurricane Ian, we've been out here working with folks and just spreading the word to contact the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce. And as a result of that, we have established today, I just left the bank actually, the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund. You can go to galagichifoundation.org and make a donation, because we are using this, folks, to help those in need. We still have folks, in particular the inland rural areas, who just Tuesday, some people were just getting their electricity turned on. And we're joined by Marvin Neal. Good afternoon, Marvin. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Merle?
I'm good. I just announced the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund that we established through the Galagichi Foundation. And I was just telling folks to go to the galagichifoundation.org website. And on that website, let me go ahead and share that website so folks can see it. You could go to that website and you can make a donation and indicate that you want that donation to go to the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund to help our folks, not just in Georgetown, but beyond, and in particular in our rural areas where they are not getting the help that they need to recover from the loss of power and even branches falling on their roofs. There's a family that contacted me. I think, Marvin, you checked on them today, where a branch fell through their roof, and I asked them, can you even stay in the house? And they said, well, as long as it doesn't rain. And we've been fortunate that it hasn't rained, but no one should live in those conditions where if it just so happens to rain, they can't stay in that house. And I think these folks are getting overlooked, and that's why we established the Disaster Relief Fund. But Marvin, update us. What have you been doing this afternoon? I know you said you were going to check on some folks. So what's going on out there?
I checked on actually two in the Plantersville area there. One with their porch and stuff, and pretty tied up, but that's taken care of. The other, one with the roof damage in Plantersville here, I'm still assessing that and waiting on the family to respond back. I'll give them a call back in a few minutes. I think they were just out work or whatever and stuff. But but that's the name that you sent this morning, which there's some more out there. I know that, but I think a lot of our challenges is not the damages to property. It's more, a lot of it is just food and getting food and stuff back into their home and stuff because of spoilage from electrical outages and stuff of that nature. So that's where I think we need to focus not all of our attention, but a lot of our attention. Because if they're not eating, that's a dying moment within itself anyway.
That's right. And that's what I'm hearing too, that these folks need to get some food back into their refrigerators and freezers. And to do that, we need some donations. And that's why we opened up the Disaster Relief Fund. And we are already making plans for distribution points in the community. And then folks to distribute it, go to the homes and take those items to them. So if you want to be a part of that, you want to help out and everything, folks, please go ahead and go to the Galagichifoundation.org. And on our donate and support page, you can select the amount you want to donate. And then we also have an other button. So you just, if that donation levels that we've suggested don't work for you, go to donate other, and you can pick the amount that you want to donate. But we go as low as $20 up to $1,000. And if you want to donate more, please go to Galagichifoundation.org. There are folks out here who are working, and I just want to let folks know about the South Carolina Emergency Management Department Division. They have posted after Hurricane Ian cleanup in South Carolina. I want to go ahead and pull that up also. Here they're talking about, the cleanup, being careful what you should do to make sure that you do not harm yourself. And you can call for debris cleanup and removal. Call 800-451-1954. That's 800-451-1954. And we're going to put that at the bottom of our screen and have that scrolling the entire show so you can see that also. But if you have experienced, and I know some folks have experienced this, windows blowing out, rain coming into your house, leak into the house, we don't want mold to form, and there's a particular way you need to clean it. One thing I do know, do not mix ammonia and do not mix bleach. It will put you in the hospital. All right. So you can reach out to the South Carolina EMD.org, and it'll tell you how to clean up that so you don't get mold. Stay away from dangling power lines. Wear sturdy shoes or boots, so you don't get cut by glass. Because folks, we're still cleaning up. If nothing else, in inland Category 1, Hurricane Ian really just blew down branches, really did create a mess, and along the coast did some real damage along the coast. Marvin, what else are you hearing out there about damage? I think a lot of cleanup has really happened, but as you said, the electricity was out for a few days, and we got Anthony joining us too. So go ahead, Marvin.
But one thing, we really need to pay attention to mitigating some of these leaks. Like you said, windows blown out and stuff of that nature. They really need to mitigate as much as possible, because what happens if the damage by not mitigating is just increased the amount of work that needs to get done, and it costs more for teams that's actually volunteering to do work to get it done, because they could spread money to other places than just in one unit, because of people that just did not mitigate the leak. Put a tarp over it or something of that nature that will stop the leak from coming in. I hear a lot of people say, as long as it don't rain, no, you need to put a tarp over it in case it rains. So, and those are the things that have to happen. If a window's blown out, get some tape and tape or plastic around the window, so rain won't continue to come into their home and create more damages. And a lot of times, people be careful with trying to create damages for insurance payoff too, because that could hurt you also in the long run. So a lot of things are going on. You have porches and stuff that are disconnected from the homes because of the wind, steps and stuff of that nature. Make sure you're careful how you step out. If you need help, just give us a call and stuff. We had a call from two young ladies already. One from both was from the Plantersville area. I know there's some not damages in the Oakland area. I haven't heard of any damage in the Brownsville area. Heard of just some minor leaks and stuff of that nature. But when it comes down to the areas like that, with the electrical outages, we really need to function on the healthy side when you come down to food, meds and stuff like that, stuff of that nature, snaps and stuff of that nature. We need to be working on, which there's agency that could help them provide help with snaps and stuff and food and Pampers and stuff for kids and stuff of that nature. So.
Very good. Hey, Ebony, thanks for joining us this afternoon. I know you're popping in and out. You got a lot going on, working with not only Hurricane Ian and getting the word out so folks can call and get some help, but housing and everything. But good to see you, Ebony. And can you give us an update with the work that you're doing and what's going on with you?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. And I'm really glad you're putting this on, Marilyn, because, you know, I really don't see a lot of visibility with our officials, really, to be honest with you. It looks like ever since, you know, the pandemic has started, it has come from grassroots organizations such as the Galagichi Chamber and ones like Seven Dimensions and so many other ones. But with social services, Seven Dimensions is offering assistance with applying for Medicaid, for food stamps, for helping find utility assistance. I can go on and on. There are even resources that we never thought of that people are calling us for that could be getting diapers. We can help locate organizations that are doing those things. And really, that's what it takes. A collaboration of all these organizations, individuals working together to be able to make the greatest impact with getting the information out there that people really need. The good part that I like about what Seven Dimensions can do, people get really, I think they get discouraged when it's time to apply for social services because they'll say, oh, I'm gonna have to do this long application and then I'm gonna have to do all of this work. And it gets discouraging when you're already fatigued, you're already tired, you're already stressed out. But with us, when you call that number available Monday through Thursday, one of the counselors will answer and actually complete the application for you over the phone. And you don't have to do any paperwork, no signature, no nothing. And we help with that process and continuing as case management to make sure that you're being connected to the other resources as well.
Very good. And I see we posted some stuff up for folks to reach out with the phone number to Seven Dimensions to help with those social services. I did go by I called the state DSS and went by the local DSS office, and they gave me, for folks who are having issues with food, as Marvin noted, they gave me the SNAP applications and stuff. But I know that's the work that you help out with also. And yeah, it is a bit lengthy application, but if you call Seven Dimensions at 843-904-5323, that's 843-904-5323, they can help you with those applications to help you go through that process. All right, so very good. Thank you, Ebony. Anything else we need to know to help folks out?
Well, Marilyn, you know, the United Way and the NAACP and Seven Dimensions also is working with housing assistance and stuff, and Ebony could touch on that some, where our schedule lies and what we're doing right now. And but we are consistently having services provided with AIG office there with Seven Dimensions and stuff on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That's weekly. There's a person there all the time. So we'll be moving around to the other communities and stuff of that nature. But there will always be an office here at AIG up until December, as long as the funds last and stuff. So,
and that's coming at it's at a fortunate time that housing is there to help. I ran into someone yesterday who was telling me about the help she received from the housing assistance, and I'm finding out there's senior citizens who are living in sheds, who are living in their shed on their property because they can't find housing, and that's
a fact. Yeah, because we just got a call from one last night, and she received her approval. You know, the challenge we have right now, Maryland, is housing, finding housing that's available, that's affordable for those that have the approval, because we have a serious case of homelessness here. and that's across the country. But Georgetown, I didn't know it was this serious until we started this program going on about a year and a half ago. But it is some serious. It's a serious situation. It's a pandemic right now with affordable housing, and these are working class people. So people need to stop saying, "Well, we're not going to take care of those folks on welfare." We're not talking about welfare folks. We talk about all folks that need. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We don't exclude anyone on welfare, but we're not just talking about people on welfare. We're talking
We're
about
talking
people that need
working people. These are
affordable
people.
housing, working people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you talk about the police department, school district. Those people are working people. Teachers, firemen, policemen. These people need housing. You know, and in the housing that they are in right now, they can't even afford it. They're coming in for assistance, for help because of back rent and stuff. You know, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul now, especially in the city. We have utility rates been hiking and all this other stuff. We shouldn't be hiking anything in a pandemic. This is a pandemic. People need help. You know, they need a hand up. That's
And
what
now
they're
what
asking
is
for.
I'm
and
glad
now
you
what
said
has happened on top of that is that now we have Hurricane Ian who's amplifying the housing issues, where I've received pictures, and I'm not going to show those pictures because I haven't received permission to put them out publicly, but this is a disaster on top of a disaster of
Yeah,
poverty. The condition of some of these uh, trailers before the branch fell through the roof was barely livable. Now people, they're in the house, but they shouldn't even be in those houses or the trailers because the condition now, Hurricane Ian has thrown branches through the roof or the glass, the windows, and Ebony, you're right. Where's the leadership? I'm not seeing the elected officials. You've got to drive in these communities and see what's going on. You know,
absolutely. I was looking at Gab News and looking at the comments, and you could see it over. They were wondering, well, where are elected officials? We haven't really heard much of them from them. We haven't really seen them out, and we have to really address those things, because when it comes down to being elected, you know, we have to know that sometimes we have to put our boots on, and it's no time to be looking cute, because while we're sitting at home looking cute, being cute in a home that's well insulated, that has no issues, you have people in the community that really need help.
you're so correct, Ebony, and um, this is why we started the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund. I just was at the bank today setting up a separate, it's through the Galagichi Chamber, it's through the GalagichiFoundation.org website, folks. But it goes into a separate bank account just for Hurricane Ian to address the immediate needs of folks who have housing. And if they need to be moved into a hotel while we get their housing straight, we will have to do that. They need food. Many folks just got electricity turned back on yesterday. This is Tuesday, and the hurricane came through on Friday. That means their food is gone. They had to throw out their food, and that's their budget, folks. A lot of these folks, it's their budget for the month, and they don't have the ability to go out and just replace that food. So we need to help our neighbors. I live in the city of Georgetown, but my neighbor is in the PD community. My neighbor is in Florence. My neighbor is in North Santee. My neighbor is in Plantersville. My neighbor is in Andrews. My neighbor is in Horry County. If people are in need, we will try to do the best for most of them. But we've got to have help. And we're right here now and announcing the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund. And we hope folks will find it in their heart to go to GalagichiFoundation.org and make that donation. Just go to the donation page. And we have a special guest joining us, Miss Arnico Brown. Miss Brown, how are you today? You're muted, so go ahead, unmute. Can you unmute? All right.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear.
We
And
can hear
Hi.
you loud and clear.
thank you
Hey,
for joining
everybody.
us. Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewing audience? And y'all remember, drop your questions and comments in your comment section wherever you are viewing us. Miss Brown, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you're doing to help out our folks, our fellow South Carolinians.
Absolutely. So my name is Arnico Brown. I'm actually an elected official from McCormick County, South Carolina. I'm a Soil and Water Conservation District Commissioner. Outside of that, I am the ECJ chair for the South Carolina NAACP State Conference. Outside of that, I am the Director of Organizing and Partnership Engagement on behalf of Dogwood Alliance, where I do rapid response in impacted communities. Um, Outside of that, I co-chair a national action team with the United States Climate Action Network, and I sit internationally on the steering committee for Climate Action Network International. So I am here, and the most important part, I am a fellow South Carolinian. So thank you for having me.
Very good, and thank you for joining us. We pulled this together quickly, and we are just delighted to have you join us, and also to support the effort for the victims of Hurricane Ian. And I do want to say, and I meant to open the show with this, Sean. I apologize that our hearts and thoughts are with those impacted in Florida. I was speaking to someone earlier today, and they may never know how many people have died in Florida because folks were not giving a timely evacuation order. So folks stayed on these barrier islands, and they don't know how many were washed out to sea. So, and there are already over 110 people that they know that were that died because of Hurricane Ian. So our hearts and prayers and thoughts are all with those in Florida. But we also know that folks were impacted in South Carolina, and they are still impacted in South Carolina because of what's happening, in particular with power outages. At one point, there were over 10,000 people who were without power, and probably more than that, in this along the coast of South Carolina. So Marvin, any more thoughts, any more updates that we have regarding what's going on in our area?
Not really. We still scanning the area. I still have some calls to be made. Still looking for opportunities for people to get help. And then Nico's, is huge. She work at the state level and stuff, and I assist her with the environmental side of the house and stuff. And she's really a champion. I call her the ambassador of environmental and stuff. So she does a great job across the state. I get all the feedback and stuff. Just an awesome person to work with and to have on your team and stuff. So my hat's off to you, and hey, continue the good work. I'm sitting right in the same office with her right now and stuff. So, George got out with Ebony. So I was surprised to see her come in. Ebony called me early and said, Nico's coming to town. I was, well, I have to find her somehow and sit down with her and stuff and just break some bread, and just talk about what's going on and see what we could do on this side of the county to help out with the situations from that hurricane. So.
I'm looking forward to meeting with her later. Go ahead, Ebony.
Yeah, or Nico, I mean, she's involved in everything, and that's one thing I really like when it comes down to being Galagichi. We're the conservationists, and she exemplifies that. So I appreciate you, Nico. But I was wanting to piggyback off of Marilyn when you were saying about over 10,000 people were without electricity, and it's really sad because we have to really think about how we announce resiliency, disaster resiliency. And we need to be more prepared for things like this, because if things had been handled differently, we might not have been able to help that the power went out, but we might have been able to help how many people died as a result of not having power. I've read multiple cases where senior citizens have died because when the power went out, they were not able to run their oxygen machines. And, that's part of it is really unfortunate. So just imagine, if we had been more proactive years ago when they started talking about solar technology and allocating monies and making it more accessible for households to have solar power, it could have been a situation where the seniors would have at least had more time and a backup source for the things that they needed, things needed to actually survive because of electricity.
That's so true. And it's so true. And a lot of this takes sharing knowledge with our communities, preparing beforehand, before disasters happen, and just being prepared because climate change is real. I just received information from one of my scientific partners that groundwater is rising, and we don't even see groundwater. That's the water in the ground. Because of climate change, glaciers are melting, that the water we don't see is rising, becoming closer to the surface. But what does that mean? It means when we have a hurricane, that there's less ground to take up the water, the rain and the water from the hurricane, which means more water stays on the surface. That's why we saw such a water impact on the coast, and the sand being washed out, flooding. An amusement park in Myrtle Beach was flooded, and people were shocked. They're like, we've never seen this before to this extent. And that's a category 1. We dodged a bullet this time, but there is still impact, not only from the water. And speaking to a friend, a mutual friend of ours earlier today, Pilo Richards, who's saying the rivers are still high. They're running high because that water, and the ground is so saturated, the water doesn't have any place to go. So that water is basically spreading into areas that never spread before. And if we get a rain dump or we get another hurricane, there's going to be more flooding and greater flooding in areas that never flooded before. And the result of that is we have people who may still be on well systems. Your wells may be overwhelmed. So we're asking folks to contact us, because if you don't think about it and your well is overwhelmed because of Hurricane Ian, you can get help for that. You can get help for that. If you don't think about that wind blowing and blowing in your window, as Marvin said earlier, you could tape it up and everything, but if the water is already in your house, you can get help for that. So we're asking folks to reach out and contact the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce at 843-318-8644. That's 843-318-8644. Give us a call or send us a text message. That is a cell phone number, and we'll be happy to get you into the process to see if we can get you some help. We do have contractor coming into Georgetown to view some of these houses and start giving estimates. But if we don't know that you're in trouble, we can't help you. If you're listening and watching us right now and you know a family member, a friend, a neighbor who needs help, give them our number and please contact us. That's why we are here today talking about this effort and what's going on. And at the bottom of the screen, we have scrolling the entire show. If you need help with debris cleanup, free help, call 800-451-1954. That's 800-451-1954. So, Arnico, tell us a little bit more about the work that you're doing and how you're helping get the word out about the Hurricane Ian cleanup and what we're doing here to get the word out. So what is it that you're doing to help the effort?
Well, for me, I have put the word out across my environmental network. So I'm actually coming with funds today. Outside of that, I have, as I told you, I do rapid response for the organization that I work for. So I actually have more funds. I came with money, and then I also have out my Venmo where people have been sending. So immediate funds to you all to this area, but actually being on the ground myself to see what is going on, to see how we can help here in our state. Because for me, South Carolina is home, and when one part isn't doing good, like we all aren't doing good. So definitely here to see what we can do, how we can lend a hand as far as it being NAACP at the state level, but also being a South Carolinian myself, and what rendering what supports that I can being here in the community with you all.
And if you want to help, as Arnico said, Arnico, thank you very much. Thank you for bringing some funds to kick this off and start the effort. But if you want to be a part of this effort and help those who are in need after Hurricane Ian, you can go donate at galagichifoundation.org and indicate that you are donating for the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund. These funds will be used to help feed folks who've lost food because of power outages, if they've lost medicine because refrigerated medicine. But I understand actually a great many of that, the pharmacies are working with folks and replacing those medicines, but just closing the gap until people can be in a safe house, a repaired house, and also replacing the food that they have left. There are children who are involved. There are elders who are involved. One of the folks who reached out to me, I understand, just recently had open heart surgery, could not leave her home, still can't leave the home. She has in-home health care happening, but they need help because they can't get out and replace that food. Ebony, any other additional thoughts before I go into what's going on with the Galagichi corridor and FEMA, which is actually very important information to know?
Yeah, I work with seniors, mostly with Medicare, with Access Alliance Insurance Group. And something to note that if you're a senior, Marilyn, I don't know if you're going to hit on this, but there are funds and resources available to people who are seniors. If you call the office, 866-454-9467, we can help you look for funds that are specifically for seniors, and some of that even includes grant money from the USDA, in addition to what FEMA can offer. So that's basically all I have to say about that part.
You know, Ebony, I'm glad you brought that up because there are resources out here, but for some reason, it's just been very quiet. Very quiet, folks not knowing who to call or programs not being available once they do call, but there are programs out there. And I'm glad you mentioned that about the seniors. One of the programs that's out here that just recently happened this year, so we're really getting the word out about it, is the Galagichi Cultural Heritage Corridor Commission in partnership with FEMA actually changed some of the rules regarding
Yes, especially for heirs property.
for heirs property. Thank you very much. And I'm trying to pull it up. Well, let me see. Okay, there we go. So this, folks, you can go to the GalagichiCorridor.org website, and there's a link to this. What you see right here, it's a full form. But what Ebony talked about is it's 14 pages of expanded federal disaster assistance, especially heirs property. It gets into home ownership because prior to this, folks who did not have clear ownership of their property could not get FEMA help. That no longer exists. If you pay taxes on a house, if you need assistance and you're in an heirs property situation, you can get assistance. All right. And they have this document that takes you through the program. Housing assistance. You can get rental assistance, lodging expense reimbursement. If you have to go to short-term lodging, you could get reimbursed. Home repair assistance, home replacement assistance, direct housing assistance, and so on. You can start locally with the NAACP and the housing work that they are doing, but FEMA, in partnership with the Galagichi Cultural Heritage Corridor Commission, and that is a mouthful, folks, can get you some help, especially in heirs property situations. One other thing I want to point out is I have hard copies. So if you call us at the chamber, I went and got some hard copies printed. I will make sure if you don't have, tell your family and friends, if you don't have access to computers at this time, we have hard copies. We are happy to deliver them to you. Or USPS, rain, hail, sleet, and snow, they have been making their deliveries through disaster relief, and we'll put it in the post office, the mail to you also. So if you can't get to this from the website, we'll drop them off or put them in the mail to y'all. We made copies for you. This is great information. It's also information for our seniors to get help. If you're rejected by FEMA, even how to deal with the rejection and basically appeal the rejection so you can get some help. Many resources out there, folks. It's just that a lot of folks just don't know it's out there. And this is why we're having this show today, so we could bring attention to this, that for some reason it has been very quiet in South Carolina regarding the aftermath of Hurricane Ian, and to help our community. And when we say our community, black or white, anybody, if you need help, you can reach out to the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce at 843-318-8644, or you could call 7 Dimensions Outreach at 843-904-5323. All of us are working together. So if you get one, you're going to end up getting the other if they
Yeah,
can't provide that service to you. We all work together. Obviously, we all work together because you see
absolutely.
us here. And we're
Absolutely. That
all
is
in the same office or two offices.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Marilyn, if I can say this really quickly,
Go
and I
ahead. Go ahead.
have to phase off here in just a second. I just want to just say a word of encouragement to the people. Hold on. You know, one thing that I've seen even before the pandemic, during the pandemic, now we have these natural disasters that are coming up, is that people are just tired. They're tired. And one thing about knowledge and information is only good if you're able to utilize it. If you're able to actually put it into action, when it can is only when it can become powerful and helpful to you, your community, or your family members. But stay strong, because there are people that are here, like Miss Marilyn, Miss Arnico, Mr. Neil here, and there are organizations that can help you. You just have to reach out, and you have to do a little bit of work. Just know that. But when you get with FEMA, and don't be afraid to apply, because some of these you may have to apply for a loan, and somebody said, well, my credit may not be good, or hey, they may not give me a loan. If they don't give you a loan, guess what? They're going to have to give you some grant money. And grant money you do not have to pay back, but you have to make those steps first and do the work. So with that being said, I do appreciate every last one of you on this call. Much power and love to you.
Thank you, Ebony. You're always appreciated. I know you're going to have to dip out, but thanks for taking a few minutes and coming in and joining us. And I'll see you in a little while, too. All right, everyone. We have our number up there. I'm going to wrap up the show in the next 5 minutes. Marvin has come back to join us, or Nico is here, and I'm so glad that she took her time to come into town to be on the ground and offer some help and offer some funds. And we're asking everyone, if you have or you are still impacted by Hurricane Ian, please call the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce at 843-318-8644. That's 843-318-8644. And also you can call 7 Dimensions Outreach at 843-904-5323. 843-904-5323. If you know there are folks who are still not connected to their phone, and you need to go tell them, go knock on their door and tell them, please tell them and share this information with them. Marvin, let's go ahead and wrap up with you. Anything you want to share with us?
Well, I had to dip out because I was getting some calls from the state president and stuff in reference to what we were talking about. Now, I told her Nico was down here and stuff, and I had to get off with her. So she said, well, go with Arnico. She have money. So I
Look, Arnico going to see me in a few minutes.
We're going to handcuff her down here and get all that money. She's not going to make some money and stuff. So now we're going to link up in a second here and go and just sit down and chat and have some lunch and stuff and go from there.
That works for me, and I really just kicks it off, folks. And yeah, all of this came together since Monday. Over the weekend, actually, we've been working, helping folks, getting the word out, putting stuff on social media. We just put out on our social media, the GalagichiFoundation.org, their Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund. I want to shout out to my bank, the bank of the foundation, First Citizens. They stepped up today and made it happen. So when you donate to the foundation and you tell us Hurricane Ian, we set up a special account just for Hurricane Ian. We're going to get that money out. If you get it to us, we're going to get that money out to folks who need it. In particular, as Marvin noted earlier, folks need food. They need food. There are children, elders in these houses with their families, and they need formulas. They need food. They need proteins. And we're going to raise those funds and help out some farmers who got hit hard, who need to get that stuff out their fields, and give them some money, and then give that food to the folks who need it. Arnico, good to see you. Any words as we wrap up?
I know, really just saying thank you all. And as Ms. Ebony stated, everybody just like hold on and recognize that you have people in your communities who are here to help and support you and uplift you in this time. And whatever, whoever is out there listening, whatever you can do to help this community, would definitely be greatly appreciated. Because it's about us. It's about our communities. And when we're waiting on other people to help us, we have to be in a position to be able to help ourselves. So definitely reach out, lean in, and do all that we can to help and support each other. So thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Marilyn, one more thing too.
Yes.
People need to understand, please reach out to the elected officials, especially the county council and city council persons. Reach out to them. There's a lot of help is out there. A lot of times they just don't say it, but it's there. So reach out to them also. And I think we need to go and put it on our page also, the emergency management team in Georgetown here and the county council's website where people can reach out to them, because that's the elected officials. So every little bit helps. We just have to work together and make it happen. Even the school district, reach out to them. We've got children that's not in school because of electricity and stuff of that nature. So we also have to make sure we tie up all the loose ends. Because I've been getting calls all day trying to help mitigate situations and stuff. So
That sounds like
Nico, we'll be getting with you, but please, we're gonna sit down and see what all you have to offer and stuff, and push it out to the NAACP page also, Maryland. The disaster release fund site and stuff.
I will. This show is actually being shared on there, and I try to hit all my pages and stuff. I have connections to. I'll put it on there too. I'll put all that information on all the pages, and then I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Thank you, Arnico, for joining me. Thank you, Marvin, for joining me. We talked about the FEMA. If you reach out to us, the information's on. Call my number. We can get you this FEMA and the heirs property situation from the Galagichi Cultural Heritage Corridor Commission. It's a game changer. So folks, please reach out to us at 843-318-8644 if you need help. All of this information is on our Facebook pages, our social media, Twitter accounts, and we repeat it across NAACP and across the Galagichi Chamber Foundation organizations also. Marvin, I'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay,
I appreciate you coming on, and we'll be talking.
Okay, thank you.
All right, see you later. All right, folks. Also, climate change was posted. Climate change is really impacting what's going on, made Hurricane Ian worse. And so one of the things that we want to bring to everyone's attention, next Saturday, October 15th, is the Galagichi Environmental and Energy Conference. We're going to be talking about water quality. We're going to talk about wetlands. We're going to talk about electric vehicles. All of this is tied in together, folks. Electric vehicles, getting away from fossil fuels that are one of the main causes of climate change, which is increasing the water that is flowing in places that it never flowed before. All of this is tied together, and we're going to be talking about solutions also, community advocate self-care, community advocate training, and our keynote speaker is Reverend Leo Woodbury, great environmentalist who's out here doing the work, not only in South Carolina, but globally, is going to be our keynote speaker. And we're going to have a taste of gala lunch, complimentary. And all of this, all you got to do is register, folks. Go to our Eventbrite and look up Galagichi Environmental and Energy Conference and get registered. You could go to our Facebook pages, our Galagichi Foundation website, register, click those pages and get registered. There is no cost. And we also providing babysitting services for those with young children. And you just want to come get the knowledge, come on out. And once again, I want to remind everybody, we are offering help. If you are still impacted by Hurricane Ian, if a branch fell into your house, water got into your house, you lost power for a number of days and your food was ruined, reach out to the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce at 843-318-8644. That's 843-318-8644. And I want to remind everybody that every second Sunday is Small Business Sunday. So if you want your small business featured on a gathering place on this second Sunday, please reach out to us and let us know, because we love our small businesses. Once again, we are announcing today the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund, go to galagichifoundation.org and make a donation. That's galagichifoundation.org, and go to our donation and support page and make a donation to the Hurricane Ian Disaster Relief Fund. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please make a donation, and please tell your family, friends, and neighbors about the help that they can receive at the Galagichi Chamber of Commerce at 843-318-8644. Thank you, and we will see you on Sunday. Have a wonderful day.